Now that we have our blueprint ready, it's time to bring it to life using the minigame creator. To play the game, you'll need a Roblox account and a unique Buzzy code that will be given to you. So go ahead and enter your Buzzy code right inside of that box and click use this code. And then you'll get teleported to the game. Once you're inside of the game, if you look on the top, it should say create and play. Go ahead and click on create. So once inside of create mode, first thing you'll notice is that there are 8 huge plots to create on. So plot 1 is actually the spawn area where everyone kind of goes before the game officially starts. Plots 2 through 7 are the claimable plots, where you'll be able to claim the plot and create your own game. And plot 8 is going to be the winning area. So plots 1 and 8 are non-customizable. This is just kind of the starting area and the finish area. So you guys will be able to claim plots 2 through 7. So remember, you can only claim one plot. And if you do leave the game and you rejoin the game, you can claim a different kind of plot. You don't have to claim the same one. To get started on creating your minigame, go ahead and claim a plot. So to claim a plot, you can go ahead and walk over any green part and you'll know that you claimed a plot when you see your face on the part that shows who claimed that plot. The first thing you'll have to do when you claim a plot and create your minigame is choosing which kind of minigame you would like to create. So go ahead and click on Edit Minigame and choose either Survival, Story, or Obby. Now depending on which minigame you select, an item is going to appear on your plot. So these items are called quest items. So for your survival, it's going to be an orb that players have to protect. For story, it's going to be a key, meaning you can hide this key anywhere and your game will only start until someone finds that key and interacts with it. And for an obby, it's just going to be a part. And this part is going to be your finish part, your end point. So when we are creating our obby, just make sure that this part right here, that gold part, you place it at the end, your finish point. And I'll show you guys how to customize all of these quest items in just a second. The first minigame we're going to go over is the story game. So to input your story, go ahead and click on Story Editor, and the story tree diagram is going to appear. The gray boxes is going to be where you're going to type your story, and the blue boxes is going to be where you're going to type your choices. Now, when you guys are finished writing your story, make sure to mark which card is your win card and turn that X mark into a check mark. So just click on the card that is your win card. Those little circles right over there. So when you guys are finished, make sure you click on Save to save your story, because if you don't save your story and you leave the game, you do have to start over again. So make sure you guys save your stories and game. Now to move any quest items around, it's really simple. Go ahead and open Build Tools on the bottom of your middle of your screen, tap it or press 1 on your keyboard, and then go ahead and hold the circles to wherever you want to move it to. So I'm going to go ahead and work on the obby right now, the obby part, and you see that wherever I hold the ball is where it's going to move. So if I want it to move side to side, I hold the ball on either the left or the right. So to create an obby, it's really simple. All you have to do is click on that plus sign right there on the Build Tools. These are all the available parts that you can create. I'm just going to use a normal part right now. Now to spawn that part, go ahead and press or tap, click anywhere on your screen, and that part is going to spawn wherever you clicked on. So go ahead and move your part up and down, side to side. Play around with the tools. Next up, we're going to go ahead and use the resize tool. So resize is pretty simple. You're just resizing the part. Small, little, up, down, absolutely anywhere, large or small. So I'm going to go ahead and make a thin, long part. Next up is going to be our rotate tool. So to rotate, it's very simple. You just rotate it along either the blue, red, or green axis. And then we're going to go ahead and use the paint tool now. So my favorite color is red. So to change the color, it's really simple. Select your part and then select the color. And now we have a red part. And I'm just gonna go ahead and press other colors for you guys to see. Pretty neat, huh? Next up is going to be our material tool. Now the material tool is really cool. So by default, any parts that you guys add, it's going to be plastic. Now there's a lot of materials that you guys can choose from, so play around with it before you decide how you want your official obby to look like. Play around with it, plate, maybe you can have lots of other material as well. What's really cool now is that you can also change the transparency of your part. So 0 means you can see it, and 1 means invisible. So if any number from 0 to 1, you can play around with it. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, all the way up until 1. Next up, we have the anchor tool. So by default, all of our parts are going to be anchored. Now watch what happens if I unanchor it. It falls down. So I'm going to move my part back up in the air. And there you go. I'm going to anchor it again to make sure that it stays in place. Last but not least, we have our collision tool. So by default, again, collision will always be on for our parts that we add in. But if we turn it off, you can see that I can go through those parts like I am a ghost. So let's turn it on again. And then let me go ahead and jump on it again. So if you guys are creating an obby, one of my favorite obby jumps or obstacle to do, I'm going to show you guys right now. So what I'm going to do is clone my part. And anytime you guys clone a part, it clones in the same area. So you have to make sure you move it out of the same part that you cloned it from. And now we have 3 parts. But what I'm going to do here is actually change out of 3 of these parts, 2 of them, the collision is going to be turned off. Now, why do I do this? Well, when we are creating our obby and someone is playing it, when they are at this part of the obstacle course, they have to think, which part is safe to jump on? Is it the first one, the middle one, or the one on the right? Right? And we can't tell. They all look the same. So we know that it's going to be the right one. And then, ta-da, we made it to the finish point. So this is kind of like a little tip that you guys can maybe add into your obby game if you guys are creating an obby game as well. Now, if you're creating a survival game, if you go ahead and click over to where it says NPCs, you should see a zombie right there. And if you click on it, it's free to use. So go ahead and click on buy, and what you'll see right away is that a red transparent box actually spawns into your plot. So the zombies will spawn in this specific area. Now, if you don't like that color, what you can do is change the transparency of this part and set it to 1 so that you don't have to see the box. So that inside of the game, when you're actually playing it, all you'll see is that the zombies just spawn in this specific area. And with that said, let's go ahead and create our minigame. So remember guys, take your time, enjoy the process, and I'll catch you guys in the next mission.